All right, good morning. Welcome to our channel and happy 4th of July or happy 250th Independence Day for our country. So I know a lot of you guys celebrating today, but the purpose of the video is going to be about HUD and VA's extension of funds for those that are veterans and want to participate in the HUD-VASH program. I have gone through a lot of trouble for this particular video, and I would not underestimate the value of what I'm going to tell you, including the operational manuals that I'm going to give you that will greatly increase your odds against housing and utilizing the system. Like in all great things, when the government's involved, they'll design something, and then, of course, once they roll it out, it sounds rather beautiful. But the reality is, they'll try to eliminate 96% of you, when you attempt to apply and get this. So, to better beat that system and get it to comply with your needs and housing as veterans and those that have served our country, I'm going to provide some key highlights here, and I'm going to provide the management materials and their operational manuals for this program. Now, I can assure you they're not going to be pleased with me for doing this, but I can't see any other way. An important factor in consideration, learning about housing and you funding is actually being able to go and get this. So, with no further ado, my name is Jay. I am the owner of Section8Consultant.com, probably one of the most widely known consultants in the country when it comes to housing and programs as an independent operator. And today we're going to present all the facts and details. First up, I want to get up the linkage for you guys. Look, you'll be able to find this in the video, in the description after the video, as well as the comments. For now, I'm going to put it in the live video. So, first up, I went through a lot of trouble here, and what I did is I put everything you're going to need to on how to apply for this particular program. So that will be link number one. That will lead to an information website that I manage. Okay, there's no cost to that or anything like that. You can simply walk through it step by step guide A to Z. Okay. Number two, we're going to go over HUD-VASH HMIS manual. This data is not that sensitive, but I felt it important and relevant to the conversation, so I'm adding that link now in live. And the most powerful instrumental tool for this video is going to be the evaluation system for homes, HOMES, and it's the assessment, operation, and management manual. These are the actual questions, and anybody with a little bit of intellect would understand if you actually procedurally have the questions and the answers to the meeting, what they're going to ask and deal with you over, then you've got a great advantage, okay? Being a veteran alone or having a need alone is not going to be sufficient. Not when you're dealing with the government. We love to do to offer things and then basically eliminate everybody from it. Reading through this will allow you to be able to skip the possibility of being taken, having your case tossed. Okay, so I'm gonna post that now. This will be the homes testing. This is nationwide, so this will work for any state and every county. You can see before you even have a conversation with these people, you can already see from A to Z what exactly they're going to ask you, what their thoughts are on it, why they're going to categorize you, why you'd be disqualified, or why you would be qualified. And so, again, I'm sure they're not going to be very pleased with me for publishing this because it's not something that's easy to get. And so, I thought it would be useful to you guys. In the meantime, let's go over some of the highlights for the particular video. This is going to be for HUD's VA announcement for new homeless funding for 2026. And I'm going to grab a few details here for you guys so we can go over the broad strokes. So we got an additional $33 million in federal funding, new housing assistance for roughly 2,532 new HUD-VASH vouchers. This will be offered to 265 housing authorities nationwide. It'll be available in 44 states. When it looks for qualifications, HUD generally serves homeless veterans, veterans at imminent risk. Look, guys, you do not need to live under a bridge. You do not need to live in a tent. You do not even need to live in a homeless shelter in order to receive this. It supersedes even that of your local housing authority. In other words, you can utilize this program without being homeless, and you don't need the direct intervention of the housing authority to do so. Okay. And also, it additionally offers veterans needing supportive service in addition to rental assistance. Moving from there, we're going to talk a little bit about what the program actually combines. It will combine the housing choice voucher along with long-term affordable housing. So anytime you can get a Section 8 voucher, as many of you quaintly call it, or long-term affordable housing without having to deal with the housing authority, then you're doing good. And so housing authorities must remain in compliance with this program, regardless of what their thoughts are on it. The VA provides case management, mental health services, medical care, substance abuse treatment, employment assistance, and housing stabilization services. Let's be frank, most of that shit they offer is pretty worthless. And it's, be frank with you, also considering our veterans multi-family utilize the system, I think most of you are pretty intimate with it already. There aren't many great things about it. However, um, if you're going to take a second stab at trying to utilize services, this would be definitely worth it, because the ending yielded result would be a Section 8 voucher if done properly and you manage your case properly. If you don't know how to manage your case properly or know how to prepare for this type of thing and actually successfully carry through it, you might want to reach out to my company. I'm at www.section8consulting.com. We have all our information on our company below. Again, no veteran needs to pay my office to do anything. We've tried to provide that information through all the linkage that I'm putting out there for free for you guys. The home program is designed to help veterans not only obtain housing, but successfully remain in housing over the long term. Looking at this, there are roughly 116,000 veterans that have utilized the program over 50 states, including all our contentious areas, including Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Virgin Islands. And it also looks like there will be a high participation level through PHAs or public housing authorities that will coordinate with local VA medical centers. Excuse me for 1 minute. Oh, I always choke when I get going. I get talking too fast. And so the issuance of new vouchers eligible to veterans, conducting housing quality inspections or HUS, executing HAP contracts, and working closely with VA case managers. In fact, the reality of it is this program supersedes the power of the housing authority. They have to come in compliance with it. So you have an unusual circumstances where the VA actually overrides that of the housing authority. If the VA says you get this, you get this. So that's why it's important to prepare for it. You don't really have to qualify in the same way that you do with ordinary people that are non-veterans. They have to go through a lot of additional red tape with your local housing authority. So what this will mean for you guys is Section 8 rental assistance, ongoing VA case management if you want it, help locating landlords, security deposit assistance where available, and it's usually locally, mental health services, medical care coordination, employment resources, long-term housing stabilization. And so now that we've kind of gone over that, let me pull out all this information. I'm going to again include all those linkage down there for you veterans. Now let's bring this all back to one fine point, guys. A lot of information, a lot of links. Look, there's only a couple things here in this video that matter. Okay, that homes testings matter. You need to read that. That's what they're going to assess and ask you questions. You don't meet those criteria. It doesn't matter what kind of sob story or whether you fought 3 wars. Okay, the goal of any government program is to offer it in public view, and then of course in the privacy of their office, deny 96% of the people. So number one, reading that homes testing so you're well prepared to see if you even qualify, adjust your case so you can qualify. And two, if you don't know what you're doing, work with a consultant that understands this, okay? All the other stuff, how to and whatever, well, look, all that stuff been published to death, all right? I've even published a very articulate article in one of those links, the whole how to, but none of that stuff really matters. What really matters is when you make a phone call or you make that visit at the VA, you need to be able to beat their tests. That homes testing that I put up there as their management and operational procedural guide, that's what does that. Okay. That's out of all the things I've discussed today, that's the only thing that matters. A lot of you guys, whether you're a veteran or not a veteran, believe that everybody has your best interest in mind, the housing authority and the VA and everybody else. Look, they love to announce all these wonderful things on the news and take accolades and clap and have parties and spray paint gold shovels. But the reality of it is, behind closed doors, many of you guys will fail to get anything. And that's because you don't understand what to do procedurally. Having their manuals, operations, procedures beats that. Okay. Sometimes you've got a really good case, but your own mind defeats you. In other words, you go in hoping that a good empathy, sympathy story is going to work. That's not how federal rules work. That's not how these programs work. You either meet the merits in which they've designed the criteria of testing and assessment under HIMS, or you got nothing, partner. Okay, so I'm just being very clear and upfront with you. Out of all things considered and all videos ever made on this subject matter, there's only one thing that matters, and that's at home testing. I'm going to go on to retract here to the comments, and we're going to close up the video. I don't want to be a long one today. Okay. Now, Sunday, you're going to want to visit us again. We're doing a video, but this time it's going to be directly behind the biggest topic of the year, and that will be Congress is visiting all the new changes they're going to be making, and it's happening soon. I warned you guys they would happen between sometime earlier this year in October. It's coming up, and that's the biggest thing that anybody will ever expect, and that's including time limits, work requirements, all of it. The information is out. It's up for debate currently, and we're going to discuss that tomorrow. So, if there's any one video you ever watched this year in terms of Section 8 housing and federal programs, that is the one you're going to watch. All right, moving on from there. Sheila Neal, good morning, Jay, and happy 4th of July to everybody. And speaking of that, let me read you a little something I prepared for Independence Day. Because I felt that, we sometimes as Americans get lost in our own ideas and holidays, and we turn it into something different. Today is Independence Day. It's not really 4th of July. Yeah, it's technically 4th of July, but it's Independence Day. And we need to remind ourselves that this is not about buying $500 in fireworks and a case of beer. Okay? Let me tell you what Independence Day is for those that have not recently learned what it is or don't know. Okay? So, first of all, like I said, I wish everybody a happy Independence Day, but it commemorates the adoption of the Declaration of Independence by the Second Continental Congress on July 4th, 1776, formally declaring that the 13 American colonies were free and independent from Great Britain and establishing the United States as a sovereign nation. So we as Americans owe quite a bit to this particular date. Roughly 250 years ago, the Declaration of Independence, primarily drafted by Thomas Jefferson, announced that the colonies committed to self-governing, independent liberty, and the fundamental rights that continue to shape our nation. One of its most probably enduring and recognizable passages is, "We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal." And in 2026, the United States celebrates a historic milestone. And again, it's a cinquennial, 250 years we mark. We've managed to keep this whole nation going. And so, we need to remind ourselves, our kids and our grandkids, this is not about popping fireworks and getting loaded behind a barbecue grill. Yeah, that's fun to do. But, there were people that fought for this 250 years ago. And we need to remind ourselves this is not a Sunday sale at the local Walmart to go pick up a patriotic cake. It's about independence as a nation, where we could have been many other things. So that's why it's important we recap that and remember what exactly this holiday is about before we get in the same clownery as Christmas and every other thing, where we're just celebrating things we don't understand anymore as a nation. And so I just wanted to bring that up. So back to the comments. Rosemary, good morning. How are you? Preppy Princess, good morning, Jay, and happy 4th of July. And let's see, Muskogee Land, knowledge is power, Jay. Absolutely. And it's important to revisit the past. The past is what reminds us reminds us of what our future holds. And if we forget what the past has done for us, then we don't deserve our freedom or liberty, do we? And so from there, unified misinformation, the Housing Authority delivery jacked up every document needed for me to port simply due to ADA needed an apartment. I'm sorry to hear that. Ron Hamilton, good morning and welcome to the channel. Daniel Beluga, welcome. Daniel Beluga, boy, I tell you, he's been around for a minute in our channel. He's my number one commenter going back probably a decade now. Danny Webb, half the stuff you say never happens. So, okay, well, you know what we'll do for you, Danny? You keep visiting my videos, right? So the problem is it does happen. You appear to have a mental health problem and you're unable to interpret information like a grown adult. So I'll put your ass out my channel. Okay, Danny? Let me give you a recommendation, friend. Stop visiting my videos. Okay? Nobody cares what you have to say. If they did, you'd be making these videos. But see, your voice is unimportant and ignorant. Okay? Tracy Quails, happy Independence Day. Well, thank you very much. So the reality of it is, guys, when we talk about information and things that happen in the news, the parallel of news and reporting is that the president, Congress, and the House make decisions, and they change those on a constant basis. We report it as it happens. That some might interpret that the information changes, but does it happen? Of course. I've been, let's see, 26 years working at the federal level and published over 2,000 videos. So I can tell you, people like Danny are just, these are the same people that are, mouth rolling around naked in the forest, living in a tent, and don't understand reality. You can't, some people you just can't help. They're suffering from a loose screw, and the only form of housing that'll ever help them is probably psychiatric. I don't know how to help people like that. It's interesting trying to deal with them, but yet they keep coming back to my videos. They're so unimportant, so uninformative that Danny's become a number one member. He visits all 2,000 videos. It's rather dismaying. Good luck to you, man. Oh, you remind me of Sally, the old hooker walking through the ditch with a one flip flop, never quite sure where you are or how to deal with things, right? So, anyway, Samuel Wilmette, happy 4th of July. Have a blessed day. So, yes, we're celebrating our 250th year, and I'm glad that we're still as an independent country. And I'm glad and thankful for all the veterans that have fought for this cause over the last several hundred years. So this is probably going to be one of our bigger celebrations in America, and I hope all of you guys enjoyed. Well, guys, I've enjoyed having everybody here but Danny, because Danny's got a loose screw, but that's okay. We'll just pray for Danny. Everybody pray for Danny. He needs a flip-flop, and a bed ticket. So Claire Underwood, hey Jay, happy 250th anniversary of our nation and independence. Absolutely. Thank you, Claire, for recognizing that. Rhonda Hamilton, I listen often, mostly replay. I enjoy your knowledge and your cats. Well, the cats have always been a big part of the deal, right? All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. I've got my own festivities today, and again, it's good having you guys. Join me again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We're going to discuss what Congress is voting on, and the timeline for that, and all the things that have remained on the books. So this will be a recap for that. Remember, any decisions by Congress can be changed at any point up to the vote. Okay, but we can be assured that Danny will reappear in one of my videos to tell me that somehow that he doesn't understand that Congress has the legal right to change your mind. That's the problem with dealing with mental illness. You certainly don't have a grasp on reality. RKX, hey Jay, hope all is well. Kitty Kingdom, yep. I hope to have the cast back in the video probably during the winter months when it's cooler. All right, guys, enjoyed talking with you, and I'm going to go ahead and publish all the links in the comments section as well as the description. And if you need help or you've tried all other efforts and they failed to yield a result for you, you can reach out to my company. Our company's information is in the description as well. Okay. Have a great Independence Day and the 4th of July, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.